Well, Happy New Year, everyone, and thanks for joining us on 13 Plus. I'm Ashley Bowerman. Allie Potter will be in here in just a few moments. We are tracking some light rain overnight and some possible snow for those in the high country. But first, we want to get into tonight's investigation that we are following, which involves ambulance bills and how they aren't being controlled like other medical costs. The reason? A gap in the law. National investigative reporter Carice Jackman has one woman's story of a big bill and how a push is ongoing to hold down ambulance prices.
It's not something you want to see or hear. An ambulance coming to you when your life is at risk. But for many ground ambulance patients, the financial headache begins once they're back at home, opening their bill for the first time.
I think it's been really hard to know that ambulance companies can really charge whatever they want and there's no accountability.
When Yvette Hammond's 9-year-old daughter had trouble breathing, she took her to a nearby ER.
We got there, realized that she really was struggling and they needed to transfer her to the Children's Hospital in Atlanta. What we didn't realize, though, is that that was out of network. We went from an in-network hospital to an in-network hospital with an ambulance company that was provided by the hospital, and that ended up being out of network, and that's where the problems came.
When she got her bill 4 months later, Hammond says she was in shock to see her daughter's 40-minute ambulance ride from one hospital to the next totaled nearly $1,000 out of pocket.
And it wasn't written anywhere. You guys had no idea until it was after the fact.
Right, yeah. We were just assuming it was in network. There was no time.
She contacted her insurance company's customer service for help and also the ground ambulance company.
I asked them for their published rates, like where do you inform people about how much you'll be charging them? They told me to check online. There's nothing online that I could find.
We looked at the medical system's online cost estimate tool. We could find prices for things like CT scans, but not an ambulance.
We wouldn't have changed anything. We still would have needed that medical transport to get my daughter safely down to Atlanta, but we should know what to expect so we can budget accordingly and do what we need to do to get our finances in order for that.
When Hammonds got in touch with her insurance company, they explained that her total amount was $972. Her insurance approved $106, dropping what she owed to $865. But for Hammond's family of 6, it's an expensive bill.
People should know what they're going to be charged. They should know what to expect, and there needs to be accountability for how much these ambulance companies charge.
They even told her in a statement, ambulance providers are not offered an in-network contract with a medical plan. They went on to say that the ambulance company may still bill her for more because they're not in network with her plan.
It's talking in circles to patients, and in some ways she's lucky because ambulance providers are generally out of network, and at least her plan has agreed to pay some of the bill. We get a lot of bills where the insurer just says, it's out of network, so you're on your own.
Dr. Elizabeth Rosenthal, senior contributing editor of KFF Health News, says the current way patients are billed for ground ambulances often puts an enormous strain on patients.
When you need an ambulance, you need an ambulance, and that's the worst time in your life to be a consumer, when you have no choice.
Are you finding that Americans are having a hard time understanding ground ambulances and how they operate, but also paying the cost?
Sure. I mean, these are not insignificant rides. They often run in the close to $1,000, as this one did, sometimes $2,000, $3,000. And, that's a lot of money.
Rosenthal also said on top of getting the bill, patients have a hard time understanding what exactly they're paying for.
Not only did they charge for the ride, they're charging by the mile. They're charging if they put oxygen probes up your nose. They charge if they do an EKG. Like, every little bit of service is charged for. I just think if we think of it as a municipal service, we should pay for it with taxpayer dollars, not by grabbing money from poor patients who have no choice.
The choices are even slimmer considering it's an emergency, and a law established to protect consumers doesn't even apply to an ambulance ride. In 2022, the No Surprises Act went into effect. giving consumers billing protections when getting emergency care, capping unexpected bills from out-of-network providers at in-network rates. The law covers air ambulance services, like helicopter rides to the hospital, but not ground ambulances.
So the big gap with the No Surprises Act was the fact that they did not have these protections for people who are going in regular ambulances, the ambulances on the streets. And it's unclear exactly why they didn't include it, but they did acknowledge that it's a problem, and so they set up an advisory committee to make recommendations.
Patricia Kelmar is on that committee, which is made up of consumer advocates, EMS officials, and representatives from the ground ambulance industry.
What's been happening with ground ambulances is that every state and every community treats those entities in different ways. And so it's super complicated to come up with a national solution for ground ambulance surprise billing, but we definitely need to have one.
According to its research, 13 states have enacted laws to protect patients against out-of-network bills from ambulance companies. But even in those states, the law only protects a limited number of people on certain plans.
We really need a federal solution to make sure that all insured Americans have a chance to be protected from ambulance surprise bills and just pay their normal in-network rates.
Our national investigative team reached out to 2 associations to explain ambulance costs from a business perspective. None of them responded or agreed to an interview, but in the Ground Ambulance and Patient Billing Committee established by Congress, representatives affiliated with various ambulance companies spoke about their need to keep ambulances functioning from a financial standpoint.
We don't want to bill patients. We do everything we can to avoid that and try to find a third-party payer, but at the end of the day, we also have to continue to stay in service to be able to answer the next call.
We also reached out multiple times to the ambulance service that transported Hammond's daughter and her insurance company. We're still waiting on a response, and she's still working on paying.
I'm sure it's not just a problem here, it's all over, and people really need to know what they should be expecting as far as bills.
And that was Carice Jackman reporting. Now, while the ride was out of network, Hammond's insurance did apply the amount she paid toward her in-network deductible. It's said that the reason is because no ambulance services are actually in network. So very interesting. Well, now turning to the weather, now I want to bring in Allie Potter. Happy New Year.
Yes, the first day of 2024. Can you believe
Here
it?
we go. And we're kicking it off with a chance of rain.
Yes.
And I know people, at least I do, love to see that, especially here.
Yep, and unfortunately, we're not expecting any type of soaker by any means, Ashley. Just maybe little sprinkles as you do go to bed this evening. So, taking a live look here at our radar, we are picking up some moisture right now in the Wilcox area and then west of Sells, but pretty much just some cloud coverage for everybody else. Overnight, though, a 40% chance for rain. I really believe this will be between midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning. A 40% chance for you in Benson, 60 for Tombstone, 60 over in Bisbee, 50 for Nogales, 40 for Sells. If you live in Ajo, I'm really sorry, but we're not expecting any type of rainfall for you. But maybe later on in the week, we have 3 different chances, including tonight, for some rain and some mountain snow. This is our overnight, seeing some of those sprinkles and then, of course, some of that mountain snow in the higher elevations. We'll see lots of sunshine, in fact, tomorrow and on Wednesday. Thursday, that we have another system rolling through. We'll see some valley rain, some mountain snow. Again, a 40% chance for rain for you at that time, and that's during the day. Keep that in mind and dress accordingly. Maybe keep that umbrella handy for you. The big day, though, the best chance for rain will be a 60% chance on your Sunday. This includes that mountain snow, so yes, Mount Lemmon, and then even the higher elevations, possibly in Bisbee, Sierra Vista. Again, just a very slight or light dusting. And then that rain, of course, here on the floor. And then we'll clear out, dry up by Monday. How much rainfall could we get between now and Saturday? Well, 1,200 7-inch for the Tucson area, but heading into Sunday, eventually into Monday for our overnights, 8,200 7-inch for the Tucson metro area. A little more than a half inch for Sierra Vista and the Wilcox area is expected. Tomorrow's forecast, like I said, lots of sunshine on tap for us, and temperature-wise, 62 for Tucson, 55 for Sierra Vista, 58 if you're in Nogales, 57 for our friends in the Douglas area. Your 7-day forecast includes that overnight chance for rain at a 40%, 62 degrees for tomorrow, 68 on your Wednesday. If you notice, we start to cool down on Thursday with that 40% chance for rain. Slight little warm up, a degree or two by your Friday, and then another cool down along with that storm system by Sunday with a 60% chance for rain. Keep in mind, we are below freezing Sunday heading into your Monday, and temperature-wise, for our daytime highs, Ashley, 49 to kick off next week.
And Sunday with that 60% chance of rain, it's going to be cold too. So.
Yes, and possibly waking up to some frost, by the way, on Monday morning, early Monday morning.
All righty, we'll have to watch out for it,
Yes.
Allie. Thank you so much as always. We leave you off with a shot outside tonight as we await those light rain chances. In the meantime, take a look at this beautiful nighttime shot with the lights twinkling there in the distance. As always, thanks for joining us and have a lovely night.